So today we are going to be doing my October TBR, talking all the books that I plan on reading in the month of October. I have more books on my October TBR than I've had on a TBR for a long time, not only in quantity as far as the number of books, but also the number of pages within those books. This is going to be a tough one for me to get through. Will I stick fully, wholly and completely to October's TBR? Only time will tell. But first, we need to get through the books that are on that TBR. What separates my October TBR to the books that were on my TBR for the other months throughout the year for 2021 is that some of these books I've chosen because they have a scary theme, and October being the scary Halloween themey month, it works. So some of them just have that scary theme in them. Others are books that I've actually been scared to pick up for whatever reason. So I'll explain that as we do move along. If this is the first time that you're watching a monthly TBR of mine, please know that I like going into my books blind. This is not always ideal, as I realized with the last book that I read, but we'll let that go. Check out my latest reading vlog for more. However, most of the time I like going into my books blind, so I am not going to be giving you descriptions or premises of these books because I don't know them, but I will leave a link to the premises of these books in the description below. That being said, let's now take a look at all the books that I plan to read in the month of October. So the first book I plan on reading for the month of October is this book, The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. This is an adult classic and it is 1,276 pages long, which makes it a double tome and a half. We are off to a flying start. This is probably going to take me most of the first week to get through, or if I can start it early, say towards the end of September, then I will do that because of how long it's going to take me to get through. But I am excited to read this. This is also the first Buddy Reads book for my Discord, so if you'd like to join us over there, then click on the link in the description below. The second book that I plan to read in the month of October is this book, Bittersweet by Sarah Ockler. This is a YA culinary fiction. It is 400 pages long, which makes it a 3/4 tome. This is a book that I originally planned to buddy read with my mother in the month of September, but that just did not end up happening, and so we are now going to buddy read this in October, but also you guys on the Discord are going to be joining us. So this book was voted to be included as a Mr. Francy buddy read, as well as a Mum and Me buddy read. Again, I don't know much about it, but I do know that it's a culinary fiction, which means it revolves around food and cooking, which has me incredibly excited. This is certainly going to be by far and away the most fluffy book that I read in the month of October. The next book that I plan to read in the month of October is not one that's necessarily scary, but one that I was scared to pick up. I've actually had it on my TBR shelf for quite some time now, and just always went, yeah, nah, I'm not ready to pick this up yet. But since October is the scary month, why not scare myself and jump right into the deep end? That book is this book, The Aeronaut's Windlass by Jim Butcher. So this book is an adult fantasy. It is 630 pages long, which makes it a tome. This book came highly recommended by booktuber Daniel Green, and I'm excited to get into it, but judging by the cover and also judging by the page count, this is a book that I just don't know if I'm gonna like or not, so I've been so hesitant to put on my TBR, but you know what, it's a scary month. Let's put on books that I'm scared to get into. So we'll see how we go. Maybe it will turn out to be a favourite of mine. You never know. The next book that I plan to read in the month of October is this book, The Tower of Fools by Andrzej Sapkowski, who is the best-selling author of the Witcher series. I have not read the Witcher series, but I received this as an ARC copy last year, and I've just been scared to pick it up. Part of the reason why I've been scared to pick it up is because originally I DNF'd this book after reading a chapter. I talk about this in my Buddy Reads announcement for October. I went into more detail on that over there, so you can check that out if you want. This is another Buddy Read. It is an adult fantasy, and it is also another tome. The next book that I plan to read is going to help me with a goal that I have, which is to complete a series, and so I'm going to be reading book 5 out of 6 for the Shadowhunters series, which is called City of Lost Souls by Cassandra Clare. This is a YA paranormal, I guess, paranormal fantasy, one of the two, and I've really enjoyed my ride with this series so far. This is also another tome, so we're doing good. Wish me luck. And I'm going to hazard a guess that that is Alec on the cover, and for those of you who know, you know. For those of you who don't know, Alec is by far and away my favourite character in this series, so if this book just so happens to revolve around him, it's gonna make me so happy, give me all the feels. The next book that I plan to read is this book, The Fires of Vengeance by Evan Winter. This is book 2 in the Burning series that comes after The Rage of Dragons. This is also a tome. So for this one, it was more that I was scared to put onto my TBR because The Rage of Dragons I thought was a solid book. I think I ended up giving it 4 stars, but I read it a while ago. My plan was to go straight into reading this book after that one. However, there were some issues that I had reading the physical book of The Rage of Dragons, book number 1. It is Tuesday, and I have finished The Rage of Dragons. And all in all, I think this is a really good book. I'm going to end up giving it 4 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed it. I am going to go on to book 2. However, I have an update for you guys regarding book number 2. I started off reading the physical version of this book and was having a lot of trouble with it. And then I came across a number of booktubers who were saying to try reading the book alongside listening to the audio, and that had worked for them. That worked for me as well. My plan was to finish this book, as you guys know, and then move on to book number 2, Fires of Vengeance. However, the audiobook for Fires of Vengeance is not going to be available until next month. So I'm switching my TBR around a little bit. It's a little bit disheartening because Fires of Vengeance was the book we were reading for the Murphy Napier buddy read book of the month, so I'm not going to be reading that now anymore. But the audiobook for this one was not available then. It is now, so it's time to jump in. Am I freaking out? A little bit. Wish me the best of luck with this one. The next book that I plan to read is going to be another buddy read we're doing for the Mr. Francy Buddy Reads, link to the Discord once again in the description, and that book is this book, Twilight, by Stephanie Meyer. Now, I'm sure you know the premise of this book, whether you've read it or not, seen the films or not. There was a massive hoopla made about it way back in the day. I have read the series twice before, but I have not read any of the books in the series since starting my booktube channel. My goal with this series is to give it one more reread in order to be able to officially rate them for myself. So we'll see how we go. This is another buddy read, so feel free to come and join us with this one. And coming in at just 501 pages, even though it's just 1 or 2 pages over the mark, makes it just a tome. But it still counts. There's another tome for me to read in October. Are you seeing my dilemma here? Will I make it through this TBR and I still have more books to go? Only time will tell. The next book that I plan to read is this book, Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. This is an adult horror book, and this book is a 3/4 tome, so at least it's a step down, but it's still a considerably long book. This book was recommended to me by Murphy from booktube channel Murphy Napier, who, as I've come to know her, I've learned that she loves when sirens are represented in books in their realistic form, the evil form of sirens, and she has said for a long time now that this book depicts that really well. So an adult, dark, scary horror October, this is the right time to read it. The next book that I plan to read, I've actually waited 1 year and 3/4 to get to book 2 in this series. That book is Original Sin by Lisa Desroches. So this is book number 2 in the Personal Demons series. I read Personal Demons in January of 2020. Hey guys, it's Mr. Francy here, and it's time for the January wrap-up. I'm very excited about this, being that this is my first wrap-up. First book, Personal Demons. Now, I'm up to chapter 11. I'm close to halfway with this one, but I didn't really have any wiggle room to finish it by the end of the month, owing to the preset rules of that book club. Okay, so today we are doing my seasonal wrap-up video, and I'm really excited for it. Please forgive my voice. I am a little bit under the weather, but that doesn't make me any less excited about this video, because this is the first time that I get to do a wrap-up of everything I've read for a season. But the first book that I gave 3 stars to, which I did like, was Personal Demons by Lisa Desroches. This book revolves around the central character whose name is Franny Kavanagh. Franny is a human, and then we have an angel and a demon. And this book is all about the angel and the demon trying to tag the human's soul because the human is very special. You don't find out why until right towards the end, but she is incredibly special, and both sides, demon, angel, God, and the ruler of the demon, whose name is King Lucifer, want to tag her. 3 stars though, it was actually a good read. And I buddy read that with a friend and had been continuing to ask my friend if she wanted to buddy read book number 2 with me. She ummed and ahed a bit and then decided she wanted to buddy read something else, which is totally fine, so now was the time for me to get into it. This is a trilogy, so if I like this book as much as I loved Personal Demons, then I will move on to book 3 as well. But I'm looking forward to reading this one. It is a YA paranormal, and it is a 3/4 tome. The next book that I plan to read is this book, A Whole New World by Liz Braswell. So this is a YA fantasy, and it is also a 3/4 tome. I am a massive lover of the Disney animated original version of the film Aladdin, and I've been wanting to read the original work for a very long time. Unfortunately, I was very saddened and disheartened to find out that the original Aladdin book only comes as one book in a full compendium of books called 1001 Arabian Nights. That really doesn't work for me. I would prefer to have a novel of Aladdin. I can't get that. This seems to be the next best thing. This is released under a series that is referred to as the Disney Twisted Tales series. And so this is a retelling of the Aladdin story where we see what would happen if Jafar got to the lamp first. So I'm excited to read this for so many reasons. Not only do I love the original story so much, but my favorite villain of all time is Jafar from Aladdin. So, I mean, this just sounds like it's right up my alley. And we're going to end the month with some light reading, 3 novellas. The first novella that I plan on reading in the month of October is also going to help me to complete or to assist me with a goal, and that is to read this book, book number 4 in the Goosebumps series, Say Cheese and Die. So, that is the next book I'm going to read. The book I'm going to read after that is going to be book number 5, which is The Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. Book number 5 in the Goosebumps series. Both of these are written by R.L. Stine. They are both middle grade horrors. So I had a goal to read the first 5 Goosebumps books by the end of 2021. And once I've read these 2, I will have completed that goal. So far, I'm really enjoying the Goosebumps series. I've read the first 2, and at the end of this month, September, is when I'm filming it, filming this video, I'm going to be reading Monster Blood Book 3, so we'll see how things go with that. But so far, I'm really enjoying my journey with the Goosebumps series, and we'll see how we go. The final book that I plan to read in the month of October is not Arcanum Unbounded, but it is the final book final story within Arcanum Unbounded that I need to read to be this close to being fully up to date with the complete Cosmere series of Brandon Sanderson that he's written so far. So I'm going to be reading Shadows for Silence in the Forests of Hell by Brandon Sanderson. This is a 50-page novella, so I'm intrigued to see what Brandon Sanderson, my dear Brando Sando, can do with 50 pages in a book. Time will tell, for sure. But once I've read that book, then I will only have, basically, Rhythm of War to go. So we'll see how we go with that. But I am excited to get into this book. I love all of Brandon Sanderson's work, so it'll be interesting to see how I go with that particular novella. And now for everyone's favourite game, and you can already see some of the books, because that's how tall the stack is. Now for everyone's favourite game that we like to call Up, these are going to fit in the frame. These are the books that I plan to read for the month of October 2021. What books do you plan to read in the month of October? Be sure to let me know in the comments section below. And have you read any of these books that I plan on reading in October? Let me know that too. Let me know what you thought of them. But in the meantime, that is where I am going to leave it, letting you guys go with peace, blessings, and so much love. I post videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I'll see you again soon. Mwah! Thank you so much for watching, good night, and happy reading!